Welcome, guys, to our Friday discussion show, and our theme for today is all about drought. We are going to talk about drought with me, your host, Karimi Carol, live on Kings TV. Follow us on Facebook at Kings TV and YouTube at Kings Fraternity. Also, I'm not alone. I do have some awesome, amazing guests, and they are going to introduce themselves. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Could you kindly introduce yourselves, please?
Thanks for having me. I'm Harriet Nyanchama. I'm a student at Egerton University pursuing mechanical engineering.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What about you?
So guys, my name is Margaret Mangi. I'm a student pursuing journalism in mass media in Kenyatta University.
So I'd love to thank you for coming to this show to educate other people out there, because a lot of us, we don't know what is drought, we don't know the causes, we don't know what is happening. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you. The first question is, define the term drought. What is drought? Like, many people want to know what is drought.
Okay, drought is whereby there is a prolonged period of dry land. By this I mean there is inadequate water in the ecosystem, and this drought causes shortage of water in the surrounding. Then there is death of many animals, death of people as well due to hunger, because when there is drought you cannot produce enough food for consumption.
At least now I know the definition of drought, because I thought drought is something like dryness of dryness of an area or something like that.
And also to add on that, not only in Kenya there is drought, even in most parts of Africa. And also it started here in Kenya. It started in 1982, and it has been over 40 years since it started. And as per the population, it stated that 40.5 million of people are going to be affected by the drought, are being affected right now. And also from 2008 to 2012, it is estimated that in Eastern Africa, over 80% of the people living in Eastern Africa were affected due to drought, and causes mostly because of hunger, shortage of water.
And please elaborate more on the causes of drought, because we'd love to know. There is drought, yes, but what are the causes? What is leading this thing to be there?
Shortage of water mostly in most parts of the northeastern counties, that consists of Wajir, Garissa, Marsabit, even in Turkana also. You find such places, they have low rainfall. The amount of rain is not enough in those parts of the county, and you find that due to mostly water, because water is life. They say water is life. It's the most important thing, because without water you couldn't be existing.
Yeah.
Water is very important. So the first cause is shortage of water.
And the other cause is deforestation. By deforestation I mean cutting down of trees. You find many people are cutting trees for economic activities such as trading. When you cut trees, definitely you get charcoal and coal, right? And maybe firewood. So when you cut down trees, there will be low supply of water from the atmosphere. And by this, that's when, because just as my colleague has said, water is life and we all need water. That's why you find the biomass of the animal. By biomass I mean the total dry weight of the organism. For instance, if an animal lacks water, the animal becomes pale, and as a result, the animal will die. So when you cut down trees, it affects the supply of water.
Okay, a question.
Yeah.
Now, like the northeastern part of Kenya, did they practice deforestation?
Yeah, mostly because even when you take an aerial shot of the area, there is no trees at all. Not only there is no trees, there is inadequate. Yes, there are trees, but they are not enough to sustain life.
Yeah, okay. And what about the effects? Because if we know the causes, there must be an effect, right? So tell us about the effects of drought.
Low food production. Obviously, for a plant to survive, it needs water, oxygen, in order for it to shoot. When there is inadequate supply of water, the plant becomes stunted and shrinks, so it won't produce anything.
Also to add on her, you see when there is no rain, there is going to be a very low amount of rainfall. The rainfall there also, the plants will not sprout and grow. Even livestock, their production will be low because those animals they need water to drink. So the low amount of rainfall in some parts of the county is what is leading to drought mostly here in Kenya.
Okay, I have a question. In counties like Embu, Meru, mostly they receive rainfall. But right now, I heard that those such counties they are experiencing drought. Why? And they always receive rainfall. There is
Okay.
enough food. So what is happening?
In some parts of not Embu, it's a very big county, but there's some regions there that they do not experience the amount of rainfall. Not saying that Meru, I've not had any cases of Meru, but mostly it's Embu. There's some parts of Embu they are not receiving rain. It's mostly it's too much sun. The scorching sun is affecting them.
But there's some, okay, are there types of crops which can be planted in order to prevent this type of drought or this drought?
Planting of cover crops. One example of a cover crop is a tree. So definitely when there is a tree, there is rain and there will be massive production of food.
And also trees they help in creating they create also income because also there is this cutting down of timber to create like to go as a munajenga nyumba because you see these trees also it's like an income to them. If they plant just one tree,
They replace it with what?
how many in some years to come they will have planted more than 50 trees, of which is helpful in most of these countries.
And why do those northeastern parts they don't practice that afforestation or reforestation?
They try, but you know when you live in a country where experiencing rain it's real. Obviously, as a human being, you're going to be like you're going to feel bad because like you're going to try planting that tree, but that tree needs warmth, it needs water, it needs life. When there is no water, there's no rain.
So in those parts there are no sources of water anywhere. Like Turkana, we only know about the Turkana, right? So there is no other place where water can come from so that they plant crops, trees.
I remember there's a time the government wanted to create the water catchment areas in most of those eastern counties, but sorry to say, I guess they forgot about that because I remember they had started this policy of water catchment in some areas, of which it did not bear fruit. Sorry to say.
Let's say they are very poor in management in those stuff, right?
I'd say it's negligence because right now that's when they started coming say there's some parts of the country that they're experiencing drought. And yet they could have done something. They could have gone and researched in these water catchment areas. They try at least to find these areas where water adequate, they go and produce it in those countries. But I see it's just negligence. For me, it's negligence.
And you, anything?
Or maybe to add up on maybe the cause of drought is the depletion of the ozone layer. The ozone layer consists of three oxygen atoms, whereby when it is depleted, it makes the UV light to be so extreme. That's why the sun hits very hot, right? So when there is depletion of the ozone layer, this is mainly caused by industry because of the fumes and everything. When there is depletion of ozone layer, as a result, there will be high scorching sun.
So what you're trying to say is that in those parts like Turkana, let me say Turkana or Wajir, there are so many industries over there.
Not really, because in those places are not very well developed in terms of industrialization, but the emission of fuels from these companies on our
The one
side,
which they have there.
yeah, it makes the ozone to be depleted, hence it affects one area.
Mm.
And then there is this issue of global warming, of which many scientists are trying to come up with a way of combating the global warming, which results in the depletion of the ozone layer.
Well, okay. So my viewers, we have learned about what is drought, the effects, the causes. So I would love you to send me your messages. You tell me what you know, or anywhere else where drought is affecting our country, and we'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back. I'm your host Carol Karemi, and we were talking about drought. And there are so many comments about, so many people have learned what is drought, the effects, and some of them they're even asking. We do have the government officials, we do have the NGOs, some sponsors, but most especially, what has the government done? What has the government done?
Me, nothing. Because they started off by saying they have this water catchment areas, but when it was introduced, that story came like it became like dimming, it dimmed until they forgot about it. Now when there is a situation where they need help from the citizens,
Like votes.
yeah, that's when now they start coming. Oh, when I get into power, I'm going to try and curb the drought in some of the areas. So there's something they could have done before, but they're not doing. For me, it's negligence, and also they are very corrupt. Corruption and negligence.
For me, it's poor accountability. You find whereby these people who are responsible for accounting for every coin that will be spent on combating the drought, they are not accountable at all. For example, if we ask the CS responsible for that department of drought, he or she cannot be accountable for it because there is no auditing of the funds. Yeah.
And also you find they go, they go and distribute food, but it's not enough. And yet there's somebody who has been appointed this job to go and try to distribute food to these affected counties. But you find it doesn't reach. I don't know what they do. I don't know if it's bribe. They go, they reach their destination, they fool the Kenyans, the citizens. We say they have delivered, but in short, they have just done malice and bribery.
For me, these government officials, they are so evil. They are so bad. Cause why tell people to make you like be their governor or something else, and then you don't do whatever you have promised them? Why? Why do they do such things?
Then speaking about food, food is a basic want and it is insatiable. Meaning, when you eat today, definitely you need to eat tomorrow. So I think the government can come up with measures in order to in order for those areas to be able to produce food. When you see there is fertile soils, most of our country, like 95% is covered by fertile soils, meaning we can produce enough food to sustain consumption. So I think they should come up with methods and ways, accounting methods, in order to ensure we produce enough food for our people.
Me, I would love to thank the NGOs and the sponsors because they are the ones who are doing so much work, right? More than even the government officials. So, could you tell me some of the stuff that the sponsors and the and non-government organizations they have done more than the government?
Red Cross. Red Cross, they have been very supportive to the people because every year, not only because many people know Red Cross of being maybe in terms of blood donation accidents, but they really do help a lot. They came up with an initiative, an online platform whereby you can donate any amount that you have via your phone. So I think Red Cross, they are doing a great job.
And also to add on her, they are doing something the government has not done, has been unable to do in years. Because if they could be doing, and you know, their money is coming from other sources, not the government. And within our government, they should encourage them, because they are the one doing much for this country than the government, the government itself. You cannot just tell me that there is a government, but goodwill, the goodwill people are the one who are trying to help the affected counties in to curb the drought, and yet the government is just there sitting, just waiting for orders.
You know, there was a day I saw somewhere that this drought is really affecting us. Even the northeastern people, they don't have food, they don't have water, the animals are dying, the people are dying, and the government is just there, we'll help you, we'll help you. What kind of nonsense is that?
Yeah, people are dying like flies. You find when a new infant is born, he or she cannot suck anything from the mother because when the mother has not fed very well, definitely the child will not have anything to feed.
And also malnutrition in those kids, cause like they need to eat, and also the children need to go to school. You cannot go to school on an empty stomach. Most of them they are not going to school. Others are sick. Others are dead.
And you find at that time is when the school is like 10 kilometers away from home and you're going to school hungry, thirsty. So let's blame these government officials because they are so reluctant, they are so evil. They don't do what they're supposed to do.
Every government has its system. It has the way it runs its office. So let's hope the newly elected president will do his job well, and let's see if he's going to help those affected counties. That's what I pray he will do.
Yeah, the new government has a big role to play in terms of curbing drought and in general poverty, because when there is drought, definitely there is poverty. Yeah, so they have a big role to play.
So I'd like to give each and every one of you a chance to say what you want to say there, and just tell them what you think and what they should do more. If it is cutting down of trees, they should stop. If it is to plant one, then tell them to do so.
Okay, for me, I'll tell these people who cut trees, continue cutting them, but remember to replace them, because obviously not all of us has the ability to use gas. So if you are cutting them, cut them responsibly, then replace it.
Yeah, social media handles.
Across all my social media platforms, you can follow me at Harriet Rush. That's on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Rush Harriet. On Twitter, it's Harriet Nyanchama.
Thank you, Andy.
So guys, I leave this like this. Okay, the government here in Kenya, please do something. Not only come here to smile at us with fake smiles, and yet you're not helping the citizens here of Kenya. Do right, and also the government that is now in power, please focus on the agendas you said. Focus on these affected counties, not just to please us, but to help those citizens who are there, who are affected, those kids who need to go to school, those kids who need to eat, those who needs the basic needs. And also, let's create a government which is corrupt free. And so in my handles, just follow me at Margaret Mwangi.
Okay, so I'm going to read some of your comments. And someone here is saying, at least today I know the definition of drought, what causes drought, and shame to all those government officials who just sit there, eat the money and the funds instead of helping others. And thank you to all sponsors. That was our show for today, our discussion Friday about drought. See you next Friday as we talk more, and we'll have so many topics to talk about. I've been your host, Carol Karimi. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Kings TV, on YouTube at Kings Fraternity. See you next time. Adios.